Get rich by doing these weeklies every single week. Hi, I'm Surma, and today I want to tell you how you can maximize your weekly gold income in Guild Wars 2 and get rich with just a few minutes up to a couple of hours each week. As always, special shout out to all my dear supporters that help me keep the lights on. And now without much further ado, let's jump straight in and let me explain you how I ordered those. I will start with a general tip, then I will go over the PvE tips, then PvP, and lastly World versus World. So skip to the section if you're only interested in a specific game mode. Within those sections, I somewhat tried to order it from fast to more time commitment, but it's obviously the beginning parts are always taking only 1 minute or something, and later we have some kinds of, for example, instance content that can take up to 1 hour, but still. Let's start with the general tip. The general tip that I want to give you here is the Wizard's Vault, of course. It's an amazing feature. Just select the game mode that you play the most. You can go for PvE, PvP, World versus World, or a mix of any of them. And you can get those weeklies done quite easily, especially if you do the dailies already as well.
It's free real estate.
And then you can at least get up to 24 gold if you purchase the worst option with the Astral Acclaim and go up to 170 gold. It's amazing how much you can get, so to say, per week if you just get all the weeklies done in there. Now let's go to the first topic of PvE. Let's start with some vendors here. You can go to the Antique Summoning Stone vendor here in Aberstone. You can purchase in total 5 for a total profit of 5 gold. Of course, only use the currency that you have available. Don't use currency that you dearly need for crafting a legendary or something. Then, of course, you can get the weekly Imperial Favor vendor, where you can get 3 gold roughly, as you can see here. If you want to know more about Imperial Favor and how to make gold, be sure to check out this video. But now let's talk about the Astral Fluctuating Mass. You can get roughly around 2.7 gold on average by spending your unnecessary currency, items, whatever you want to spend on 42 of those. And if you open them, you will get on average some nice amount of gold. The next one is not really something that gives you gold, but it's definitely worth doing weekly. So I want to mention it here, which are provisioner tokens. Just turning in some stuff that you don't need anymore, like obsidian shards or whatever. Some cheap stuff that you can turn in at specific vendors. Link to it is in the description down below. But there are multiple vendors. You can turn 7 of them each week, depending on which vendor you are. For each vendor, so you actually get quite a nice amount of them if you do that consistently. The next 3 are actually somewhat similar. You want to go to those vendors to get Mystic Clovers. So the Fractal vendor saves you around 30 gold on Mystic Clovers if you purchase them, depending on the current prices. So just purchase 10 Mystic Clovers there. The same goes for the Raid vendor. Of course, you need the specific currency for that. The same also goes for the Strike vendor. You can also get some gold there, because you can also not only purchase Mystic Clover at the Strike vendor, but also Mystic Coins. So that's really nice. So you can get a lot of gold by using this. Of course, it uses the specific currency. So if you don't play those game modes, you can't do that. But if you play them regularly, you can actually do that quite consistently, and that's quite nice. Of course, Mystic Clovers are not sellable, not directly at least, but they can be a big gold save if you go for any legendary. Next up, I have a very important tip to get more gold efficient in Guild Wars 2 is, of course, to subscribe to my channel, to not miss out on the latest gold farming guides, but also on all the awesome stuff that I release here on my channel. But now back to the guide. Let's talk now about festivals. So there is the weekly festival achievement that you can get. This is personal taste if you want to go for it. Some of them actually have a gold value as well, not all of them. So be sure to get this if you want to get all the skins. The same goes for weekly festival vendor. There are some things in there that have some account bound stuff that you would not get any other way. And you can also get some gold there if you are willing to spend your festival currency. Next up, we have the Blackline key. Yes, once a week you can level a character, a fresh character, to level 10 and do the story mission of level 10. Complete the 5 story instances and you get roughly, depending on the current prices, 45 gold Blackline chest key that you can open or keep, whatever you want to do. You can't sell it, but still, each week, 1 character to level 10. You could go for multiple higher levels, but level 10 story is the fastest. That's why you would do it only there. Then next up, we have guild missions. You can do that. It's quite old content, but still. If you do all 3 difficulties, you will get roughly around 5 gold. Then we have the Chante Wilds currency that you can get. Shard of Barbanivos, Shard of Mistburnt Barrens, Shard of Lowland Shore, and Shard of Chantia Sintry. All of those you can get by purchasing at a specific vendor. You can get specific amounts of them per week, depending on the map. And they are worth between 7 to 11 gold in total. So if you do that consistently, quite nice amount of gold gain. Another tip that I can give you here is be patient. Don't spend your gold on those shards if you want to craft, for example, the spear or the Aurak's legendary backpack. Save them up, you will save more gold in the long run. And if you can wait, be patient is always the better option for your purse. If you want to know more gold tips, be sure to check out this video here. But now let's talk about rift hunting. Rift hunting, of course, gives you essences that are, so to say, account bound, which is a personal value. If you go for any Obsidian Legendary Armor, for example, it will give you very high value. But if you don't, that might not be that worth it. But you can also convert them into gold. So if you do all the weekly rift hunting rifts and get all of them done, you get 300 blues, 300 greens, and 120 yellows in total. And if you then convert the blues, you get 6 gold. If you convert the green, you get 11 gold. And if you convert the yellow ones, you get 5 gold. Just roughly. That might, of course, change depending on the current market. Now let's talk about instance content. In PvE, you can, of course, do instance content. So if you do the Soto strike missions each week, there are 2 of them, you get 13 gold in total. If you do all of the EOD strike missions, you get in total roughly 29 gold. You can also do the core strike mission, Old Lion's Court. If you get this done, it gives roughly 5.5 gold. And of course, if you do the Iceblood Saga strike mission weekly box in Eye of the North, you get roughly 8 gold, which decreases depending if you do the Forged Steel and the Cold War on top of that. So if you don't do Forged Steel, you will lose roughly 1 gold. If you don't do the Cold War strike, you can still open it and you will lose roughly 2.5 gold in total. So it's still worth it even if you don't do all 5 of those. Then of course you can do all the convergences in normal mode. So if you do the Chante Wilds convergences, all 3 each week, you get 72 gold roughly. If you go for the challenge modes, you will get 114 gold. If you go for the normal mode Soto convergences, you get around 73 gold. If you go for all 5 challenge modes of the Soto convergences, you get even 200 gold. Of course, that's a way more higher time commitment, but still. And of course, lastly, for the instant content, you could still do the fractal box, but that's not that much. It's more daily kept. The raid rewards are, of course, weekly gated as well. You get roughly, depending on how lucky you are, 90 gold without any CMs. So that's quite nice. The CMs add a little bit on top, but not too much. Now let's go to PvP. PvP only has one topic that you can actually do, which is the Mystic Clovers. You can again purchase Mystic Clovers here. You save around 15 gold on Mystic Clovers if you do that each week, if you have enough of the PvP currency to spare. Then the last big topic is World vs. World. World vs. World, again, you can go to this World vs. World vendor here, Dungeon, and you can get up to 15 gold, depending if you want to get some Mystic Clovers and some other good stuff there as well. Then you can of course do the weekly World vs. World achievements. That gives you 8 to 10 gold depending on how lucky you are. Of course, that's not too hard to do if you play some active World vs. World. And the last tip is of course do all the pip rewards. So go to the maximum diamond chest and you get some nice gold there as well. Specifically also very much personal rewards with the tickets. This is just my tips and tricks what you should do. I did not cover everything that there is. I just think this is the most time efficient ones. But that's all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. If you want to know what to do each day and not each week, be sure to check out this video. Most of the data comes from Fast Farming, so special credits to them. Link to their website is in the description down below. Of course, thanks again to all my supporters. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.